Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org for more info, or you can always email me directly at benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And on the line with us today, we have Duncan Watson. We'll be discussing his fantastic book, Next Testament, Volume 1, The Ratchwood Prophecy. Now, guys, that is the first book in a 5-part series, okay? Now, all 5 of which are available currently. And then the second one is going to be Ratchwood Dilemma, the second volume of the Next Testament. Then followed by Ratchwood Prophecies, the third volume of Genesis Next Testament. Followed by the Ratchwood Prophecy. Then Next Testament 5, Delusions of Ratchwood. Again, all of which available for purchase through Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com. But guys, listen, if you want to do yourself a favor, go directly to Duncan's personal website, okay? Now, not all of the books are available for purchase through the site just yet, but check back in frequently because this is going to be the way to gather everything that Duncan has to offer. Now, that's Duncan-Watson.workbookpress.xyz. There, not only will you be able to find more information on Duncan himself, you'll find more information on the first 3 books of the series, followed by the next 2 once they're available there, as well as find hyperlinks set up to take you to the purchasing page. So one more time, that's Duncan-Watson.workbookpress.xyz. And if you haven't figured it out already, Duncan was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by some of the best movers in the business. Workbook Press Publishing. So if you have a book that you'd like moved, make sure you're doing yourself a favor and you're contacting our great friends over at Workbook Press. And you can find out more information on them at workbookpress.com. And guys, listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have Duncan here on the line. The moment you go to his website, you go to his Amazon, his Barnes & Noble page, you start to do any research on the book, you instantly understand what we're going to be discussing today. Now, it is a fictional narrative, okay? It's a fictional series, but it's going to be based upon Christianity. Now, we're going to be taking and learning from biblical stories taken from the Bible, put into this book, but it's always approached from a different perspective. Now, sometimes there'll be biblical characters infused into the book, but a lot of it is going to be taken directly from Duncan's imagination and, again, loosely based upon the biblical stories and characters that we've come to be acquainted with. And listen, Duncan is the expert. Okay, he's written the books, he's done the research, and he's going to be able to articulate everything much better than I ever could. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Duncan, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you so much for being a guest. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm very well. Very well, thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, listen, this is truly a pleasure, and we're very much looking forward to everything that we're going to be able to learn from you today, Duncan. And listen, I know we have so much information to cover, so without further ado, let's jump right in, man. Let's not hold off any longer. The first book in the series is called Next Testament, Volume 1, The Ratchwood Prophecy. Tell us a little bit more about the book.
The book, it is the first chapter in describing a message that was given to me through divine inspiration, and it echoes the story, the Jesus story in the Bible. It's about the coming of a reluctant fictional future Messiah, and it's all about his mission on earth is all about the reunification of world religion and secular culture. And that's the root of his mission in the created order of things, with dire implications for the universe if he fails.
And now the second book in the series is called Ratchwood Dilemma, the second volume of Next Testament. Tell us a little bit more about that narrative.
The second volume chronicles the development of a feud between Ratchwood and his disciple Wicklow. The origins of this feud lie in the lack of faith in Ratchwood's powers and a desire to probe into the heart of darkness for infernal abilities, which binds Wicklow to Vygotsky and the Swarm. They're other characters in the book. They're like the baddie of the book.
Mm-hmm. And then next, we have Ratchwood Prophecies, the third volume of Genesis Next Testament.
It's actually called Ratchwood Prophecies Genesis Next Testament 3. And this is the prequel book to the prophecy, and it tells the story of how Ratchwood and Wicklow set out on their quest and how they came to be sharing the prophecy with the world. The prophecy of the coming of the next Messiah. It's before Ratchwood knows that he's the next Messiah.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the Ratchwood Prophecy.
The Ratchwood Prophecy in Actuality. And it's divided into 3 books. Volume 4 of the Next Testament.
Mm-hmm.
And it serves as an ideal jumping-on point for new readers. You can follow the adventures of Ratchwood at the climax of his journey, just as his fictional reality is exposed as the creation of an already dubious Messiah.
Fantastic. And then lastly, we have Next Testament 5, Delusions of Ratchwood.
And Next Testament 5 is it's Ratchwood questioning whether he has been the Messiah at all, and whether it might all just be a psychotic delusion. Because at the time that I was writing the books, I was going through an episode of psychosis, and there were mental health professionals looking into my own mental health, and the whole series of books may actually have just been a delusion in my own head the whole time. And so then Ratchwood is questioning that. But as it says in John 7:16-18, my message is not my own. It comes from God who sent me. Anyone who wants to do the will of God will know whether my teaching is from God or is merely my own. Those who speak for themselves want glory only for themselves, but a person who seeks to honor the one who sent him speaks truth, not lies. And that's John 7:16-18.
Fantastic. Guys, there you have it. All 5 books, again, available for purchase through Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com. But do yourself a favor, head directly to his personal site, Duncan-Watson.workbookpress.xyz, to gather everything that he has in store. Now, Duncan, taking a step away from all of the books, I'm curious because, of course, they all follow this similar character, right? They all follow the same storyline. And again, as you've stated, taken from or loosely based upon the Bible. Now, what inspired you to embark upon this journey and write these books, write this series of books?
I do a lot of meditation. And in my meditations, I meditate upon endless awareness, infinite consciousness, infinite God. And while I'm meditating, I often have my dog with me. And infinite God, infinite dog, infinite happiness, contentment, fulfillment, and love and harmony. And through these meditations, God spoke to me and gave me the story.
There you have it. Now, so of course, this story, as you just stated, was almost divine intervention. Where, as you said, God came in, gave you the story, and then you put it down on the page. But going even further back, when it comes to writing in and of itself, have you always been someone who has been passionate about writing? Were there artists that inspired you, other writers that inspired you? What inspired you to embark upon this creative journey, aside from God speaking to you, or really was that it?
Well, when I was younger, I did English A-level at school, and I did a creative writing module on that. But I was the only person in the whole year that was doing the creative writing one. Everyone else was doing investigations into the English language. And my teachers tried to dissuade me from doing it, and for that reason. And I was passionate about writing, so when I couldn't do it for my A-levels, I threw myself into it in my life, and I've got a brain injury, and when I was 13, I suffered a brain injury, and I realized that I wasn't able to fulfill my original ambitions in life. So I fell back on my passion for writing. And so in 1996, I had an accident, and I was in a coma for 11 weeks, and I had lots of rehabilitation.
Oh, wow.
And I nearly died. But God acted in my life, and God did make a divine intervention to save me. And I became a Christian at university, which had good and bad impact on my life. But I got involved with a bad group of people. But then I eventually, God led me back onto the right path. And writers that have inspired me along the way are Stephen King, Terry Pratchett, Neil Gaiman, Alan Moore, and also a lot of Christian writers along the way.
You know, Duncan, as we start to wind down in this wonderful interview, I'm curious, what would you say was a highlight for you in writing these books? Or if not a highlight, maybe something that surprised you that you weren't expecting prior to embarking upon the journey?
Developing a sense of enlightenment in my faith, because not only do the books explore Christianity, but they attempt to, as I said with book one, they attempt to unify world religion and all secular culture, and it explains a perspective from which all religions can be brought back to the truth, the biblical truths of Christianity. And I really obtained my own sense of spiritual enlightenment through writing the books, and I would like to guide my readers to do the same, but to achieve it through their own quest. I really just explore one possible approach to it. I aim to inspire my readers to seek their own enlightenment.
There you go. There you have it. You know, Duncan, listen, we've discussed so much information so far today. Is there anything else that we haven't yet touched up on that you want to make sure our listening audience is aware of?
These books are the way forward. These books represent the next chapter, or the third book in the Bible Trilogy, the Old Testament, the New Testament, and now the Next Testament, volumes 1 to 5. And I hope after this, I've got an idea for volume 6. But after that, I'm going to return to writing children's books. But after me, I would like somebody else to go on and write volume 7 and keep going on. And eventually these books will make up the Next Testament of the Bible.
There you have it.
And people can be led to spiritual enlightenment and spiritual divine realization through these texts.
Mm-hmm. Guys, I absolutely love that. You know what I love even more? Listen, we're at the end of the interview now. We've discussed so much information, and yet we've barely scratched the surface. That's why the onus is on you. I said it before, I'm going to say it again, even though I know I don't have to. Here on the line with Duncan Watson, We just finished discussing his amazing books, the first of which is called Next Testament, Volume 1, The Ratchwood Prophecy, followed by the second book in the 5-part series, Ratchwood Dilemma, the second volume of Next Testament, then Ratchwood Prophecies, the third volume of Genesis Next Testament, then the Ratchwood Prophecy in Actuality, Book 1 through 3, then followed by the final Next Testament 5, Delusions of Ratchwood. Guys, you surely will not be disappointed. There is something here for everyone, and there's more than enough to go around. Let's grow, let's develop, let's educate ourselves, and it starts with these fantastic narratives. Let's open up our spiritual awareness, and Duncan has paved the way for us. You surely will not be disappointed. Head on over there, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Duncan-Watson.workbookpress.xyz are the places you have to go. Duncan, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you once again for being a guest with us today on People of Distinction.
Thank you very much for having me.